Benson.
Benson,
we are live now. We are live now. Send me a text.
Okay.
OJ, meet the hosts. OJ Ajaifia, former Mwama, but you, Winifred Iwango, and Joma Mwapa.
Winifred.
Hello, OcheKitchen family. Thank you for joining us today and welcome to our season premiere. Introducing our special guest today is Gabe Onah, Arts Administration / Policy, Intergovernmental Liaison, Pioneer Tourism Advisor for the Cross River State Tourism Initiative, 2001 to 2012, Chairman, Cross River State Carnival Commission, 2007 till date. Thank you, Mr. Onah, for joining us. OJ, take it away.
Hello, everyone. Before I go ahead and give my monologue, I just want to thank you guys for coming to be with us. In this season 2, we promise to be very, very exciting, as we have always been. And I would like to let you guys know that I have the plans to do the giveaway every week, every month, but I'm not going to say on what day. So whenever the spirit leads, whenever I am moved, I'll do the giveaway. Opportunities in tourism in Nigeria. Tourism in Nigeria is not a very developed section of the economy. Nonetheless, it is necessary to follow the trends of developed countries who invest a lot into the tourism sector. It can help to diversify the Nigerian economy and provide a positive image of the country in the international arena. Nigeria is a coastal country, and the main attraction for tourists is the pristine beaches and marine activities. Other attractions are historical monuments, exciting trips to tropical forests, exploring wildlife, visiting ancient sites, and Nigerian diverse art and culture. Which brings me to the very first question for our guests. What is tourism, and what images spring to mind when you hear the word tourism?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here on this wonderful forum, and that our brothers and sisters in the diaspora are thinking home. Truly, generally speaking, tourism is receiving attention worldwide today, and governments, organizations have seen this as an area of quick win and low-hanging fruits for people who are willing to organize themselves for meet and greet, provided you can give that smile, provided you can be warm, provided you can be hospitable. The tourist dollar will begin to look for your pockets, or the naira will begin to look for your pockets. So firstly, you ask, what is tourism? Tourism is the act of traveling for business or leisure, provided you're not taking a permanent employment in your location where you are visiting. Again, we are being reminded that tourism is an aspect of survival that you only get to feel it when you visit the location. So the supply is at the point of preparation. You must go for it. So ab initio, you must feel like it. Then when you think tourism, what comes to your mind? Warmth, happiness, play, leisure. But today there is a mix of it, knowledge tourism. You talked about the role of beaches, historical tourism, conservation tourism, and what have you. So these are the things that come to mind. But when you compare it to how it is being done in developed nations, the commercial undertone, what do we make out of this? This is where we are lacking back here at home. And that is why I talked about deliberate steps, building blocks that must take you to that point that must be adhered. As we go, we'll take on them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. My second question is, how important is tourism to Nigeria, and what are the major tourist attractions in Nigeria?
Yes, at the risk of being misunderstood, because unfortunately for me, I have been on the tourism desk for my own humble state in the last 18 years. We are just an example. But you're asking, what is the importance of tourism to Nigeria and the attractions?
Yes.
Well, it is a reawakening. It's an awakening that is ongoing today as we speak. You agree with me that 30, 50 years ago, if you visited Aba or Enugu and didn't stay with an uncle, with Uncle Kingsley, Uncle Okoronkwo, your mom will be wanting, you are a bastard, you are a vagabond. Uncle Okoro is there, you didn't go to him. Why would you stay in a hotel? Only bad children stay in hotels.
Yes, we grew up like that.
So where did you eat? I ate in Mama Pudi. Said, no way. You know that Auntie Joma is there, Auntie Forma is there. You didn't stop by. And of course, the moment Auntie Forma heard that you went out, she was cooking already for you. So these are archetypes, these are stereotypes that were conversant with this sector. But as we go, you realize that we need to now embrace the commercial content, which is the business of it. The attractions in Nigeria are suffering from oversupply. But you see, before these destinations or these sites become attractions, there must be value addition. We've heard about the Great Ogbunike Lake. We've heard about the Arrow Long Juju Point of No Return. We've heard of the Kanu Doba. We've heard of your Masquerade. We've heard of Queen Amina and her exploits in the Great Day. We've heard of Carnival Calabar in recent times. But are these tourists ready? Are these locations ready to receive tourists, from toilets to hotels to eateries? And the way you package your food. You package your food like the common suya here that is everyone's love. You package suya with newspaper of 1922. And when you go home, you are going to sleep with flagyl.
Yes.
Yes. So packaging, which is why I said learning and the deliberate steps, which is a collaborative and true training. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, my third question is, how has tourism changed over the past few decades? And what do you think tourism would be like in the future for Nigeria?
Fantastic. At the risk of being misunderstood, if you don't mind me, I will use the pilot program of Cross River State as an example here.
Go ahead.
As a bridge.
Yeah.
In at the turn of the millennium year 1999 to 2000, when the new government of President Obasanjo came into being, during his pre-inauguration world tour, he took the government and the governors of South-South during his world tour visit to the Caribbean. And he said, this is the way to go. Oil will come and go. Oil is expendable. But tourism is life. Tourism is inexhaustible. As long as our people continue to be warm, as long as our wives, our women continue to cook the best meals, which is cuisine tourism, as long as we continue to keep our environment clean, tourists will want to come. Remember that we have lost brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Remember that of the number of slaves that left to the New World, over 30% of that numbers left to the shores of Calabar, Cross River State. And what we said, the old Calabar, we are talking about slaves that were raided from Marochukwu, from Ogoja, from Abia State, all through here. We've recorded more numbers of slaves that left to the New World than anywhere else in Africa. Our brothers who are in the diaspora, their DNA is crying for home. They want to come back home. And that is what is called roots tourism. And it's in roots tourism that the tourist dollar lies. Our brothers and sisters who want to reconnect with their past will come back in search of their roots. And they will be coming to spend money. They will not be coming here for free. So in the turn of the last decade or last 2 decades, the South led the Armada, led by His Excellency Governor Donald Duke. I'll be unfair if I don't give kudos to Governor Duke, who said, this is the way to go. We are in the Niger Delta geographically, but you can use a teaspoon to take our oil. We barely have oil. But what we have going is our clean and green, our hospitality, our smiles, our festivals. You know, we say that our festivals are truly what we can give to the world. Those days it is said there's nowhere else to spend Christmas than in Calabar. But I know this for sure. My father grew up in Oka. He benefited from the apprenticeship scheme of the Igbos. And that is why the Igbo man is the Jew of Africa, because he knows sustainability. He knows how to turn 1 naira to 10 naira painlessly.
1 million.
Yes, he knows how to wait. You cannot begin to sell granite, and when it is time for fuel, there's fuel scarcity, people are making money, you run there. You will wait because you know that the time is coming. It is the institute of apprenticeship that led to that. So Governor Duke said, this is the way to go. What did we do? We decided to introduce a tourism development committee. This development committee went across the state and identified tourism sites, about 55 of them.
Wow. In Cross River alone?
Yes. That's why I'm saying we're from oversupply. They made recommendations and faced the development. We said the first thing was to check the sites, take one pastoral district, then you need to call what they have the flagship, you know, that is Obudu is the flagship for the Northern Cross River in Ogoja.
Yeah.
Tiapa and the Calabar Festival is the flagship for the South. And of course, the rainforest, where you have the canopy walkway, is the flagship for the Central. So there has been this reawakening across. Today, if you come here, our brothers from Imo State, they are trying to copy Carnival Calabar and they are working with us. Our brothers in Delta, they are trying to copy our tourism initiative because we told them that there are certain things you must do. I led a team of 24 to Jamaica for certification in tourism for 12 months. I led another team to Washington for events management in 2005. I led another team for enhanced experiential training in the development of children's carnival in Trinidad and Tobago. And it's ongoing. I've led several delegations to Barbados, to Notting Hill, and of course to Brazil. In Brazil, their carnival is now fully commercial and mechanized, because you see that their floats move and speak to the audience. And what do you want to give the audience? Excitement. You want to create excitement. People will be excited and they ask for more vodka, they ask for more champagne, and there's money for the economy. You know? So we'll get to the socio-economic impact of tourism. I'll speak more about that.
OJ, can I ask him something? Mr. Onah, did you say you guys spent 12 months in Jamaica?
Yes.
Can you take me next time?
Let's go tomorrow.
Please. I love Jamaica. I love Jamaica. Please.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That will be all from me for now. So I would hand over to Winnie. Winnie, your questions.
Winifred. Is she on mute?
It's not ready.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir Gabe, welcome to the program.
Thanks again, Winnie.
Okay. What is ecotourism? And
Very well.
do you think it's a good idea for Nigeria?
Yeah, it remained one of the last piece of real estates in all of Africa, because in this same Nigeria, you have all the seasons. You have the rainforest, you have the dry savanna, you have the waterways, you have the coastal areas, like my sister said in her opening. So ecotourism is that part of tourism that engages in the environment, conserving wildlife for tomorrow. Again, you know, we are heading towards where if we are not careful, our children will begin to visit the zoo to see what a goat or a fowl looks like. There's no chicken they have during breakfast or dinner or luncheon. But it is in observation that you find this wildlife there for future generations. Our people are used to gaming wildlife, but
It's true.
government and the private sector needs to provide alternative means of protein for our people so that the environment can be preserved and conserved. Today, if you go to places like Rwanda and the Cameroons, people queue for 1 month to see the gorilla in its true habitat.
Yeah.
We have the Yankari Game Reserve, you know, that has the baboons. In the Budu Mountains, we have the lowland gorilla that crisscrosses in Cameroon. We also have the mandrills. We also have the mangabi. Then we have the elephant, the wild elephants in the forest. And
In Nigeria?
Yes. And these are all being tracked by rangers, you know, and the forest tour guides. Ecotourism was already doing well. We have the Lekki Conservation Center with easily the longest canopy walkway in all of Africa.
Wow.
Second, first, before what we have in the rainforest, they have 401 meters long, and we have one again in Kakum, Ghana. So ecotourism is really here to stay because increasingly people are beginning to appreciate the need to conserve and protect the wildlife and the forest for future generations.
Wow.
Okay.
Sir,
Okay,
can we ask a question? Is that okay?
We'll take questions at the end of
take
the presentation.
Okay.
If you don't mind. Thank you. Yeah.
Even just write your questions down and then we'll take it up. Okay, my second question is, Sir Gabe, do you think tourism helps people in the world to understand each other?
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, I'm happy. I wish I had an opportunity to make a presentation of my prepared slide.
You will.
It is believed that through meet and greet, exchange of cultures occur. We discover that we are truly one humanity.
Yes.
We discover that even within the Nigerian community that is populated by a diverse of communities, the things that unite us are more than those things that disunite us. That our cultures are truly similar. The way we dance, the way we speak, the way we relate, you know. Then, of course, you can imagine being in Hungary and you discover that they have what we call the okazi leaf or the hot leaf or the dog leaf. They have it. I was shocked. You understand? So you begin to, and the quickest way to a man's heart is to his stomach. The moment you begin to bond through eating, you're done. You understand? So tourism is one of those sure ways. By the time you do inter-country hosting, intra-country hosting, interstate or intrastate, it is easy. Our brothers and sisters who have come to enjoy our International Carnival Calabar since 2015, we've hosted over 33 countries yearly.
Wow.
You know, and it's a different ball game. It's a unique way to export culture seamlessly. That's my summary for that.
Thank you.
Sir Gabe,
Yes,
thanks
please.
once again. Okay, my next question is tourism something that only the rich partake in?
Yeah, on the contrary, it is chicken and egg. Tourism, incidentally, is produced by you and I. Agree that we are common people, but it's the man with the expendable income that will come and spend his naira or his dollar. So we are strategizing to take off his money. So it's not for the rich. If my role, I have not had Christmas since the year 2000. I've not had Christmas with my family or New Year festival. It is work, work, work. And I'm happy with it because you're praying to God and thanking God when you're serving the people. If you know what work is, because in working, you are contributing to creation as God made it. So when the rich people come with their money, the common man gets it through service delivery. So it is not for the rich people, it's a symbiotic relationship. So this is a huge misunderstanding. But we need to create strategies that will attract the big boys who have expendable income. And that is why when you are developing your marketing strategy, you begin to look at the class of people you're targeting. Who are these people you are looking for? Where do they get their message? Where do they sit? Do they sit in beer parlors or in the comfort of their bedrooms and sit through the laptop or through the handphones or through their children or through their wives? That brings us to AI, artificial intelligence. Today in the world, they've discovered that women and children are the ones who take the lead in terms of where to visit. So you create ads, you create tactical campaigns and strategies through marketing that will attract those ones. And they bring their monies. As they bring their monies, we smile to our banks through selling pure waters, through selling AVs, through marketing our hotels, through selling mama food, through, getting ready to receive them, through quality service delivery.
Thank you.
The next one is, what are the factors that affect tourism?
Good. For me, the factors that affect tourism is, first, a proper plan. Policy. Government must play her role. The private sector must sit up to it because it is only when it is in the hands of the private sector that it is sustainable. Government treats it as nobody's business. And that is why we've always said in the example we've had here under the leadership of Governor Duke in the early millennium, that government has no business being in business. So government is to break the ice, act as a catalyst, and leave it there for the private sector to maintain and sustain. So we believe that if we get it right, with a proper plan, you step down to the identification and preparations of the products, which are the attractions and the sites. I'll be able to run through a couple of natural sites that are gradually being turned into attractions across the country later on. After the development of the attractions, you now move to the promotions I mentioned earlier, which is marketing strategy. After the marketing strategy, alongside you discuss training, service delivery.
Yes.
The only way that you can sustain repeat visit is quality service delivery.
Yeah,
if a tourist comes and sees a young boy picking his nose when serving, he says, I'm tired with this I'm tired with these Oguta people and this Calabar people.
Hey! I'm proudly Oguta, I beg.
So service delivery, quality service delivery will lead to repeat visits. Then the place of commercialization, which is the passage, the line, the groups that market tourism products. It is a business and there are people whose business it is. You don't just jump into it. Otherwise, you'll be groping in the dark.
True.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Sir Gabe, my last question for you. Do you think tourism is bad for the planet?
No, tourism is not bad planet from my own point of view in the sense that because I talked about alternative methods. For example, what people always complain is cultures are undermined. In the Caribbean, there has been a worry about sex tourism. You know, they will tell you the 3S, the sun, the sea, the sun, and sex. That is being worked upon now. But they will tell you that you cannot have an omelette without breaking an egg. So you have to juxtapose, look at the pros and the cons. And this is where training and foundation matter. But when tourists begin to visit locations, chances are that they might supplant that culture. Chances are that there might be some abuses. Chances are that the environment is undermined. So through education, through training, this will be highly minimized.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sir Gabe. Before we go to the next set of questions, can we take a break and we'll come back? Stay tuned. Thank you very much for your patience. And okay, Sir Gabe, are you ready?
I'm with you.
Okay.
Nice work.
Are you a good ambassador for your country's tourism industry? Would you say you're one?
You want
I'm
to answer
getting
that?
personal now. I'm getting personal. Not intentional.
I try.
Good. Okay. That's a very short
I'll
question.
say he is.
That's fine.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, we know he is. Yeah.
Okay. Now go on.
I say I'm passionate. I'm passionate about the fact that you guys came up with tourism at all, because today intermediate people, young people, don't think this way because they want quick win. But they don't know that these are truly low-hanging fruits, you know. And this is the height of creativity from you guys who are really made already. But you are thinking of what to do for our people. And by the time you come, you are already influencers in your own right. You know, I tell you, a lot of young people, when I go into any hotel anywhere in the world, I first of all ask the frontliners, are you happy with what you're doing? In the Caribbean, in America, in Europe, the guys are happy. But if you ask our guys here, oh boy, how is it going? Do you like what you're doing? It's all God, they manage. I say, so you want to be chairman or what? You don't like what you're doing? So what do you want to do now? You want to do my own job? So I start coaching them. I say, look, be happy with what you're doing. God loves a hard-working hand. Somebody can come here, see your smiles, and change your story. Yeah. Somebody can give you a tip that is more than your monthly salary. So I said, help them up. And that is why in tourism and hospitality, they teach them etiquette. They teach them they need to take pride in what you're doing. And we need to, one of your questions, one of the advantages of tourism to a country like Nigeria is the pride of our nation. The pride of our nation. 3 weeks ago, I had an opportunity to discuss with someone in Doba, Kano, who wanted me to come and assist, you know, turn it around. And you needed to have listened to where they spoke. Hausa guys and girls, they were passionate about Doba. They now want to change the narrative. Enough of the thoughts. We now need people, discerning people who will come now and see the Doba as an equestrian sport, but has, you know, economic to, you know, arrivals. Okay. So passion and passion, and this is what I see you guys do already.
Thank you.
We can hear, you can hear from your voice. You're actually
Yes,
vibrating and tourism. Thank you very much. And the next question is where everybody's sitting very tight and want to grab. So I hope you're ready. What opportunities are available in the Nigerian tourism for the private sector and individuals?
Okay. See, I decided to make it quick to tell us something that will be for our kind of people. Generally speaking, first, our young boys and girls can have an easy landing in this sector. Because in this sector, you need zero qualification. You mustn't be a graduate to survive in this subsector, which is why the Europeans have surpassed us. The moment you finish college, the moment you finish your initial, before going to the tertiary education.
Yeah, high school.
Yes, you can take a job as a front office person, as a hotel manager, but you would have trained through certification, you know? So the opportunities are huge from the to the back office, you know? Even if you sweep and sweep with joy, even if yours was to clean cobwebs and you do it with joy, you will go places. So the opportunities are huge and are boundless. From acting as a tour guide, from acting as a tour planner. I see all of you guys already as station managers. You can imagine you speaking to our lost brothers in Europe and America, or in the in Canada, about the tourist attractions back at home, because most of them still think we live on the trees. So, and this is the communication they get. This is the communication they get, you know, from us. So if we begin to market our sites, then they'll naturally begin to say, when do we go? When do we go? When do we go? You begin to connect. But marketing site is not a one-man business. You must act as a gamut. There are people whose place is to drive taxi, people whose play opportunity is for hotel, people whose is to pick up, people whose is to direct. They call them docent tour guides. I receive you at the airport. As I take you to Booking Waterfalls or to Oguta Lake, I hand you over to the tour guide on ground. You know, so everybody is busy, and the monies are paid centrally for ease, so that it is easy for dissemination. You know, then of course, for memorabilia, gift items, people want to remember where they visited through keepsakes.
Yes.
We talked about your festival. We talked about Doba. You see the way the horses are adorned with finished bronze and gold. You know, that is a moving dollar there. Then the monoliths in Cross River State, the anchor, even the monorail. You know, the gorilla itself can be converted into gift items. You know. Then, of course, quality t-shirts.
Yeah, souvenirs.
Yes, quality t-shirts, caps, key holders, you know. Then, if I were to zero in into a few challenges we're having here, if some infrastructures that are challenges to government are an opportunity for the private sector, we don't have rest points. If you leave New York, or you leave Colombia, going to New Jersey, you pass through multiple rest points.
Yes.
And in that rest point is a mini village. That rest point is a mini local government. There is everything there, from food to accommodation to the eateries and what have you. That is an opportunity for the private sector. Not to talk of the carnival line itself. The carnival line, I need a whole day to talk about the opportunities in carnival. I'm ready to give you guys one full day sometime next week.
We ready.
Okay.
We'll be glad to have you.
Yeah, this takes us to the presentation slide now.
Yeah.
So hang on. Ify, before the slide, there's a question from Benson.
Okay.
He says, sir, my question is, how would we scale up my community festival, which is the EKG festival in Arondizog?
Fantastic. Yes. I talked about the critical steps to a sustainable tourism initiative. And the key drivers, the community, the stakeholders, and the private sector. Community is membered by women, the elders, and the youths, and of course the leadership, which is our traditional institutions. They must realize that we are not taking the festival from them, because the first thing is that these people don't come with their wahala. People want to see the authentic cultural African festival. But if you ask our forebears, there are other traditional content you don't want the tourists to see. Maybe that was how our parents used to use to appease the long juju, or to appease their forebears through libation or some kind of bloody other things that we no longer do. So we now have to, after that plan of session with these three key holders, key sector stakeholders, the community, the private sector, and the product itself, we now stick to that plan, then it must be something that is push and go. The EKG festival has been there from time. Yes, and if you remember, those of us who are students of history, this was how Christmas was identified. We believed, it was said that Christmas was a pagan worship, but they wanted something that the people of that time will accept and key, so that it becomes a world leader. And that is where we are today. My brother was asking for EKG festival. You are asking for consultancy, and we can see in camera.
I think he's at work. Benson, can you show yourself?
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Please, I'm here for you, Ben.
Okay. Yeah, is Benson coming online?
Is this Chris?
Benson first.
OJ, Binta would have gone first.
Oh no, I was reading.
No, it's okay. It's fine.
Okay,
it's flowing. Everything is flowing. No. Continue. Everything is fine.
I don't know if Benson had something to say because he called. Okay.
Please go ahead.
Mr. Onah, for the few minutes I have listened to you, your presentation sounds very nice. It's very academic and looks good on paper. But how do you reconcile it with the realities in Nigeria? We know that if we don't have a secure society, tourism can't thrive. So one, there are a lot of challenges to tourism in Nigeria. One of them is good roads, and another one is security. So it's difficult for one to move from one place to the other. So when you check the pace and the constraint, you might as well stay in your locality and have your fun. And then if you don't feel secure going to hotels or, handing over your properties or something like that to whoever is a tour guide also, I don't think people will, especially us, because you have been making references to us that are coming back to Nigeria. There are a lot to explore. In every village, in every town, there is a tourist attraction. Yes. But we are not developed yet to realize that what we are looking for Sokoto is in Sokoto.
Yes.
So how do we, marry all these things because one thing ties to the other. Yes. And if you don't get one right, the other ones are not going to. People are, more interested in survival in Nigeria than any other thing. And then when you say tourism is not for everybody, fortunately, tourism is for everybody, but you have levels of tourism where you fit in. If you are going to the EKG, a lot of people can go to EKG and then have a day event and then go back. If any expenses, anything that they do in that community will bring revenue to the community. So you choose if you decide to go to Bunker Bay or so in Lagos, all the islands in Lagos, that's where you belong. It's for you. But then the security, the bad roads, and the other logistics, how are you guys in the tourism industry addressing that? Having Nigeria
Chris.
as a study point. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Can I comment now?
Yes, can you give us a brief answer so that we could do your slide? Because I think your slide will answer a lot of these questions. Yeah.
Yes, very well. Chris, that was a lecture, I must say, because you have it all already. And this is the true challenge. tourism is actually for all. And that is why we say tourism, if we get it right, it is parallel government. Every sector of the economy is supposed to key in. And this is the framework from developed nations. Yes. And that is why I am always tempted to use the Cross River State example. We decided to make a difference. One of the questions the ladies asked me earlier was about what has become of this sector in the last decade. And I said 2 decades. We made a difference because we decided to go out all headlong. And you talked about the KG and the other icons of tourism. To turn them to attractions as their sites now, it needs value addition that is possible from man. This brings us to the government of the day, the leadership. The leadership must be deliberate. The leadership must see this. The leadership must marry with the Millennium Development Goals that is now the SDG, Sustainable Development Goals. So it must be deliberate, because there's no need bringing a tourist here when he's going to be sleeping with one eye open. And that's why if I come back to the Cross River State example, we have what we call the CRQ, organized through our interaction with USAID. We brought MBA graduates who are ex-America to domicile and live with us for 13 months.
Wow.
But we brought a professor of tourism from Charleston to live with us here for 6 months to see the nuances of our people. Then when we came back from our training, we did tour guiding skills and we did train the trainer. We came back now, we trained information officers, we trained all protocol officers, we trained all custom officers at the airports, seaports, motor park. Then we trained immigration. But you see the problem, after 6 months, they get transferred. This brings us to the autonomy states. Is a very peculiar situation. And I agree with you that without security, you cannot get that. Without access, we cannot get it right. But it is a new realization. And I said this earlier, I do not know if you had joined us then, that it is fairly new to us that you can now visit Enugu as a homeboy and check into Nike Lake and just come and see your mom and dad standing. You couldn't do this 30, 40 years ago. You have to bunk in the 2-room apartment or in the family house where you left before you went to Obodo Ibo, you know? So the truth is that we need to now look at this sector as the new frontier to change lives for our boys and girls. We are saying that we want to see this as our oil, and that is why Cross River State, we decided to take on this sector, to stand apart, and it has paid off for us.
Okay.
Chris.
Sir, can I ask a question? Because I'm actually from Cross River.
Wow. Welcome home.
Yeah. Before now, my family have hosted a couple of families from abroad for this carnival and stuff. They were all excited when Donald Duke was there, Imoke, yes. But now, as it looks as if it's a Nigerian factor, it starts depreciating. What we expect that should be growing start depreciating. Even the Monty-suits, because my house is actually opposite Monty-suits.
Wow.
So
I live next door.
We'll lodge them into Monty-suits. Yeah. So some will lodge into Monty-suits and our apartment. So it's a good flow for us. But now we are not even comfortable to bring in anybody. Then they will book us and say, we're coming for carnival, can we all go family carnival and stuff? But now you can drive all the way around Calabar, no matter the time, we all had fun. But now it's a different story. It's like Akwa Ibom is even pulling it off from Calabar. So that's the reality that I see. I might just be, I'm outside, I'm not in the tourism zone, but I'm out for now.
Thank you, Binta. Binta, right?
Yes.
Okay, Binta, incidentally, I was in the inception team with Governor Duke. I worked under Governor Duke. Unfortunately, Governor Imoke retained me. And unfortunately, I am being retained again as the institutional memory. I say it's unfortunate because I should have been gone, maybe going to sell Ogbadume in Onisha. by now.
Badume.
But I tell you something, Binta. Every picture has a story.
Very true.
Every picture has a story. Governor Duke came as a meteor, delivered. Governor Duke did everything. Developed the plan, developed the product. We went marketing. You recall that every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we were on network news belt. We had our 45 seconds advert on Obudu and Cross River State. Sent us to world trainings, to world-class trainings. Today, we are our benchmark identities for our tourism is South Africa for events tourism. Tinapa Business Vision was modeled after Tinapa, after Sound City and Dubai. But today, because of the politics of lack of lobby in Abuja and Lagos, Tinapa is suffering a near stillbirth. But we believe that Tinapa will rise when maybe none of us are still here because the infrastructure is still in place.
Very true.
Then came Imoke. Imoke came with institutionalization and commercialization big time. Then came this present administration that introduced the International Carnival. But I will end it up there and say that every picture has a story. And my children are still young, like your children are still young. We need to catch them young now so that we can begin to imbue in them the advantage of good foundation and sustainability, the framework of sustainability, M&E, monitoring and evaluation. These are very critical for us to get it right.
Okay, I'll take you straight into your slide because I've heard that phrase M&E. It might be in that slide. Tell us more about it. We're getting technical now.
Yes.
So if I were you, can we go to slide 7? Because we've gone to slide 7.
Okay. As your lordship.
Yes, we are in it together.
Yep, that's it.
Okay. Slide 7 is talking about major tourism products, which we'll deal with as we go. But like I said earlier, the world has embraced the tourism sector, and tourism is receiving a lot of attention, from governments, investments, organizations, because they have seen that these are low-hanging fruits. Even the selling sector in tourism, they have realized that this is the way to go. In Barbados, tourism drives the economy more than their oil, more than the gas. Same thing in Trinidad and Tobago. They are number 4 in gas export, but tourism through Carnival comes first. Just to join hands with what Mr. Chris mentioned earlier, I saw how disturbed he was in terms of how ready we are in this sector. And by the time I run through the attractions and the major tourism products as you would have seen them, you would have seen our modest effort in this subsector that we have really tried. We have tried as a state. We are running tourism as if we are a country. And that is why, at the risk of being misunderstood, we will just continue to use Cross River State as a pilot scheme for now so that it will act as a motivator. When I say we're running tourism as if we're a country, issues of access, issues of communication, issues of security, they are in the national list. They are not in the concurrent list. And we are battling to make a difference. With what budget? And the private sector is completely shy now because they are wary of spending. We were thinking that by now, Carnival Calabar should fund itself. We gave to ourselves that by 2015 and 2016, this subsector should have been fully funded by the private sector because the private sector is looking for opportunities to market their goods and services. We have 1.3 million people. Binta will tell you, you couldn't have a better opportunity to market your works, your goods and services. We inherited 3,000 bedrooms in Greater Calabar. By 2015, there were 26,000 beds in Greater Calabar. Not to talk of homesteads. Like Binta is saying, they were to put people in monthly suits. In Africa, house is never full. I have an 8-bedroom flat, but during December, I have 26 people visiting. We eat round the clock. is our thing. So I'm talking about our major tourism products now, and looking at experience tourism, looking at MICE I discussed earlier, meetings, incentives, conference and events, the heritage tourism, the roots tourism, wildlife and conservation. I mentioned Carnival Calabar Festival. Maybe we should not overflog it. Obudu Mountain Resort. The only cool climate all year round that is developed courtesy of Governor Duke, with about 240 bedrooms up the mountains, with another 180 dormitory style accommodation at the bottom hill, with 32 chalets for people who don't want to stay in the cold, and for research students, and visiting hikers. Then we have if you go to the next slide, so that we can look at Obudu so that we can get done with Obudu. Yeah, good. This is one of our major attraction out there. Is the cable car. First, it's an attraction, then it is a means of transport. Commuting between the bottom hill and the top hill normally takes about 30 to 35 minutes. But with the cable car, the 35 minutes drive through the 11.25 kilometer way is reduced through a straight line of sight, which is now being reduced to 4.5 kilometers. And the cable car takes you there, takes 240 people every 15 minutes up the mountain. You can imagine beholding this beautiful sight up out there for people who are not mountain scared. People everywhere will come, and I say, at the risk of being misunderstood, this is the only cable car in all of Africa, because South Africa is just geographically in Africa. It is Europe. If you go to Cape Town, you know that place is actually Europe, not Africa. It's just because of geography. Otherwise, if you see the development in South Africa, is way out of here. So we claim that this is the only cable car in all of Africa. So if you get to the next slide, we'll be discussing heritage tourism. This is the monoliths. The people who stay in this community are known to have had interaction with iron ore smelting business. And it is consistent with the Bantu, because we're itinerant people and probably conversant with war. These relief writings on stones couldn't have been done with mere hands. We believe that they have used some kind of technology to make this possible. Next slide. Then this anchor is the entry to the Marina Slave History Museum. This is easily, if you visit Google today, this is one of the best museums in Nigeria today. Apart from the National Museum of Nigerian History, that was Lord Lugard's house in Calabar, that encapsulates Nigeria's history from 1900 to the millennium. This museum, located in a beach that used to be called Matilda Beach, is responsible for the export of 30.1% of slaves that left Africa to the New World. From our records in the museum, 2.4 million slaves were raided away from Arochukwu, Ogoja, Makodi to Badagry. But the advantage our brothers and sisters, as they are today, from the Portuguese community or the European community had, was that it was easier to get to the nautical miles from Calabar, so they didn't need to build castles as you have in Gambia or in Ghana today. So it was easy for the little crafts, the small vessels, the small canoes, to move the slaves to the mothership that is waiting, that used to wait just across the ocean. So that was why we had more slaves that left here. But this story is yet to be properly told, because we need our brothers and sisters who are in search of their roots to come. We need to bring ourselves together as a private to develop DNA machines that will be located here. There's a huge realization now that a lot of them want to know where they come from. And when they come here now, they will now spend money. Between Creektown, where Mary Slessor used to have a caravan in the 18th century, to Calabar, there are underwater crafts, all right, on the underwater belly, crafts that were used for this illegal trade in human beings. So the Museum of Slave Trade is our wonderful foot old on route tourism. Next slide. Governor Duke was an exciting person. He wanted to create something that everybody would like to come and see. Calabar has scored a lot of firsts, being a coastal city like Lagos, and the arriving Portuguese and the Europeans found it very welcoming. We are told that the meaning of Calabar is calm bar. Where they arrived was turbulent, but when they got to Calabar, it was calm. The city of Calabar is raised above the sea level. It is difficult for any tsunami to take Calabar. So they settled there easily and built the first monorail. The first monorail from Market to the government residential area that is called Leopard Town, the Crown area. So we decided to recreate that story by introducing a modern monorail. But the monorail, as initially designed, was supposed to move people from the airport to Tinapa through NTA, for those of us who know a little of Calabar, and to the market. When Tinapa wasn't forthcoming, when Governor Imoke came, we decided to introduce a redesignation of the project and decided to link Tinapa to the International Conference Center. You see the huge building at the far left in there. There's an International Conference Center that can take 5,000 people for our meetings, incentives, conference, and events, icons tourism. But to support this event center, you need 4 5-star hospitality chains. The Sheraton, the big names, the Le Meridians. That is opportunity for the private sector. Next slide. So the monorail is an attraction and a means of transport. It takes 60 people every round. This is the canopy walkway right at the heart of the rainforest. You cannot just go to the rainforest and hang out there just to see vegetation. If you go on this exhilarating canopy walkway, it takes you about 20 meters above the forest floor. And you can see the wildlife in their true habitat. It is good to pump some adrenaline, especially for chief executives like you. You know, and you go back home and take that elusive rest. We have 2 of them, one in Obudu, which is 70 meters long. It is a teaser. When the young boys, the young tour guides take you to the 70 meters, that is buried right in the montane rainforest with fan view. They tell you that there's a big one in the rainforest. It takes 1 hour to get there. You will like it. You see wildlife, then you'll get attracted. Next slide, please. This is the Great Canoe Doba. Doba has been as long as man himself. The people use this as a means of transport before now. They use this to conquer territories, but now they use it for their Salah celebrations, for their festivals. They've discovered that it is good to continue showing and displaying this past so that children can appreciate it. The costumes you see out there is also opportunity for the local people. Some people want to buy this for keeps. If I had an opportunity to be in Dubai again, I think I should get one of these dangerous colors and keep. These are the kind of colors our women would like to wear. Next slide. What my team has done here, my team decided to marry the modern day water slide. What you see in the middle there is a 400 meters water slide in the swell pool of Tinapa. Tinapa has one of its great anchors, the studio. Next to the studio is a well pool that you can use to simulate any movie situation. But this is supposed to attract men, women, and children, more women and children. And it can massage 50 women at the same time through the rivulets around the water pool. The surrounding picture there is a typical visit to Ogunike Lake.
Cave.
We decided to create this contrast. You know, the surrounding picture there is the inside of Ogunike Lake. Those are young tourists who are going in out there to discover for themselves. Next slide. On the direct on the left is our Gungu Fishing Festival. That is a tourist out there trying to take it out on himself. Most of them don't believe. In fact, when I visited Gagungo a long time ago, I used to think that these guys used to bake this fish and throw in there and bring it out to deceive us. But you know, in tourism, you begin to tell a story, you build a myth around the story, and you begin to market it. They tell you in Jamaica, Bob Marley was a gentleman. He doesn't like trouble. He's not a man of weed. As you enter his premises, you go behind, he tells you, the tour guide will tell you, Bob Marley, gentleman, anytime he's not happy, this is where he will sit down and he will smoke his ganja. You see initially, it wasn't a smoking man.
Yeah.
Later on, he's telling you that ganja is a treatment. Ganja is for survival. Ganja is to temper you. You know, by the time you finish that, your $200 is gone.
Yes.
On the right is Great Nickel Lake. Nickel Lake today has been transformed to a wonderful resort that is being managed by a four-star chain. I know African Son of Zimbabwe were there after Southern Sun left. And it's one of our best foot forward now in Eastern Nigeria, because Enugu, for most of us who are from the Goja speaking, Enugu, for most of us who grew up in the eastern parts of Nigeria, remains one of the best pieces of real estate. When you talk about the Enugu GRA, the Obete, the Milking Hill, and what have you. So Nickel Lake represents that last strength for, you know, leisure tourism and for conferences. Next slide. Okay, on the left now is the Great Eyo. Eyo is one of our last authentic festivals. For Eyo to happen, we used to tell our friends, our counterparts from Lagos, Anoba needs to die. So when people ask for Eyo, we say, okay, so who will go now? I'm not Anoba. So, but Eyo is a great alluring outing. It doesn't come out anyhow. It comes out only to tell a story. On the right is the other slides at the Tinapa Resort. Next slide. Wow, this is a wonderful entry at point of Ogunike Lake. This picture come before the one you had the kids, the tourists around. You see the mixture of colors out there. You know, this held a lot for our forebears in the past. It was a getaway. You know, they used this as bunkers during the time of, there's a whole lot of stuff behind it. The next slide, please, is our humble effort in conservation. Since the gorilla, from genetics and DNA, have identified that it is 98% man. From our studies, they have identified man with gun. To capture this picture, we worked with the Cameroon Conservation Society, the National Wildlife Society, to install secret cameras to be able to, because they are almost extinct. They have been driven right into the heart of the rainforest. And working with the CNN crew led by Christian Purifoy and the wildlife team from NCF led by a guy called Andrew Dunn, secret cameras were installed and they were captured. Their social life is very unique. The young are smarter than the aged. They don't share food with the young after their early stage. And they don't forgive, they don't forget. They know how to operate cameras now. You mimic how to use a gun, they will take the gun and face you. So DNA research have shown that they are 98% man. I'm sure we can research this. Next slide. I said earlier that if we are not careful, we'll be visiting the zoo to see what most of animals look like. And that is why we are struggling that our people should stop gaming the chimpanzee and the gorilla. On the left is the Zuma Rock in Abuja. In the middle, there is one very unique gentleman. He's from the Dantata family, Alhaji Munzali Dantata. Humble guy, he has a PhD in tourism. He was the just SYDG of the Nigerian Hospitality Tourism Academy in Abuja. They have their head office in Abuja, but their lecture theaters are all in Kano. He had his 2 tenors and left and offered to come to Calabar for a sabbatical to see how he can marry experiential tourism with what he did. He has an LMM in law and a PhD in tourism. He is now developing Zuma Rock as a tourist attraction. He has set up shop at the top of the hill and at the bottom of the hill. The ladies you see out there are tour operators who were there on the 27th of February last month on a proven trip, on a proven tour, on a familiarization tour, as I request this great team to visit soon to see that it is truly marketable. That is Zuma Rock. On the right is Jos Plateau, the Jos Rocks. At the risk of being misunderstood, Jos is a natural winner. If I were to do a secret balloting, I will vote Jos before Calabar anytime for Carnival, but I don't want to lose my job. Jos is natural.
We'll take you in Imo State to hire you.
Jos climate is welcoming, so you can't beat it.
Yeah,
great Lake and a great confluence. I can see great marriages here. This is what we hear about 2 oceans.
Yes, sir.
Cape Town, South Africa. There's something they call Cape of Good Hope. I told my wife and children I was going to Cape of Good Hope as part of my tourism training. I got to Johannesburg, flew to Cape Town, took a ride. We got to Cape of Good Hope. It was just a flat plank standing there, the road Cape of Good Hope. And I asked my tour guide, is this what we came to see? He said, yes, sir. I said, what is this? He says, sir, it is the southwestmost tip of Africa, Cape of Good Hope. I was excited because I read about it in geography. Then as we were going, he told me, look at 2 oceans. Can we go there? I said, not again. I can't be fooled again. I didn't think Cape of Good Hope. I was thinking I was wondering what I was expecting. But 2 oceans showed me where the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean met. They didn't marry. It's exactly what we are seeing in Oguta Lake Confluence. How do we market Oguta Lake to take our true place in history, to take our true place in tourism? And this was what I was telling Chris earlier when he asked, Mr. Chris, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To position ourselves, to market our products, to talk about our product. Was it for my Ijoma? Ijoma gave me sleepless nights. She wants Oguta Lake to be represented.
Yes, sir.
I was going to have
my
problem
t-shirt
with
too.
you.
Proudly Oguta.
I was going to have problem with you if you had finished this without mentioning Oguta Lake.
Oh, thank you, Chris.
That's one of the great assets we have in the East.
Yes,
and it's very well underexploited. But thank you.
Anytime we discuss it, I get blown away. We need to market this. We need to market this, but it doesn't come.
That place is one of the things that we have. We don't appreciate it. It's very, very underappreciated. If you haven't been to that place, you won't understand it. It's a very great place.
Exactly.
You've been awe. Mm-hmm. You've been awe, yeah.
There's a lot of folklore to this. We can write books, we can tell stories, we can create songs, we can set up hotels around this place and sell memorabilia and create a whole economy around this place for our boys and girls for the future. Next slide. Okay. Where are we? Tourism value chain and the socioeconomic impact. Discussing the business of tourism, the employment generation using Cross River State as a pilot and as a yardstick. In 2012, we had about 4,500 direct employment in the sector. By 2017, this presentation I should have updated this plan following my 2019 summary of the carnival. We have received over 22,000 direct employment in the sector. But the opportunities, direct employment here, sales and marketing, hospitality, which is the hotel business themselves, tour guiding, which we discussed earlier. Performing arts. Today, you see people do dancing everywhere.
Yes.
Dancing everywhere is choreography. They got that from us. They are Tilogu, then Pumpkitty. Our cultural festival that sees over 26 states of the Federation coming to perform. We bring the best And you know today that the Ejele is easily the biggest masquerade in this country. We need to celebrate, you know, and we need to upgrade. Okay. You need to give me Uba so I can pronounce it well. we need to up the game and pay our performers living wage so that they will be happy. The opportunity for arts and craft, we need to develop our arts and craft so that people can take things away for keepsake so that they can remember where they're coming from. And of course, costume design. The next slide. Okay, how tourism works. I'll just beat through this, the creative workers, you know, coming together as a cooperative to develop a tourism community forum. Because the bottom line is the PPP. Government has no business in being in business. Government should set up these businesses with the active participation and involvement of the private sector, because they are the ones that will ensure that these things are sustained. Again, access to one-digit support in funds. In some cases, there should be grants. If the World Bank gives you 100,000 and it says, turn it around and bring it back in 5 years. Turn it around, engage our boys and girls. Then putting so much pressure. We discussed earlier about issues of access, communication, and security, and overheads. Every community, every home in Nigeria is almost a local government. You have your security, you have your borehole, you have your two, three hybrid of generators to run power. There is no way any business can thrive like this. So government must create.
So you're going far with community. Is every family in Nigeria is a local government? Every household.
So you see, that is our dilemma, you know. So we need to come out creativity to meet with government interest that will lead to sustainability and therefore empowerment. Sustainability is only possible when we leave it in the hands of the private sector. Thank you. Next slide. Okay, at the risk of being misunderstood, Calabar means come and live and be at rest. Bintu, you're there. You're my witness, and of course, Winifred.
Yeah.
I spent 1 year in Calabar too. I spent 1 year in Calabar.
There is nowhere else to be. We are laid back. The people of Cross River State are laid back. It doesn't sound well for business, but it is good for tourism. And this is why I've always told my friends in the Niger Delta, you cannot go into tourism when your business is oil, money. Just work the money and come and spend it here. We'll be ready to receive you, pamper you. You go back and work hard, bring more money and spend the money, you borrow money from us to go, you know? So I'm believing that
but we need to keep our states right. We need to keep security.
Yes,
it has fallen in Calabar. That's why people are not tripping anymore.
I agree. And I said earlier, a word is enough for the wise, that every picture has its story. We believe that not too long from now, we shall get it right. We pray that this will radiate to other parts of our country. I mentioned I was in the Tourism and Investment Roundtable in Oka, November last year. The government of the Southeast, they're sitting up. Lagos is also trying. Lagos did a wonderful World Tourism Day event on the 27th of February. They took the lead. And governments of the day are beginning to realize that we can engage our youths in this subsector and create a new economy, create a realization that we can be proud of our country. We have discussed these opportunities earlier for the diaspora, and I think you guys are better informed now. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gabe.
Wow, thank you so much, sir. With a lot of passion.
Thank you very much.
Just into the tourism.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much, everyone who's listened. Thank you so much, Sir Gabe. You've been awesome. Actually, we all feel like coming to Nigeria to enjoy those good times.
We are.
It would be a bad idea. Yeah, we've toured many countries just for fun only, just for that tourism sake. So it wouldn't be a bad idea doing it in Nigeria.
Yeah,
putting that money back into our own country. Thank you, everyone, for being a part of today's show again. Join us next week, Saturday the 24th, right? 28th, 24th, for the next topic, which is Girl Child. Girl Child has been celebrated a few days ago, but we're going to talk more about it and we'll bring you more information. Thank you, and do join us next week.
Okay, OJ, you have a question from somebody? Sir Gabe, I think we have one question for you before we go.
Okay,
yeah. Okay, this question is from Becca. She says, how can someone get into the industry, especially someone who's not in Nigeria?
Okay, truly out there, the tourism industry is very structured.
Just
we are going to do here now to organize dedicated lines, to have organizations like the National Association of Tour Operators, to have the NANTA, they have to have the FTAN and the rest of them. It's easy. If you go online, you check out tourism associations, tourism associations, and you'll be happy. But I tell you, the organizing tourism is more structured in the diaspora, mostly the Caribbean, Europe, and all of Americas today. When we bring international participants to the Carnival Calabar, we deal to the private sector. The embassies just show us to the private sector and they walk away. It's not here that government wants to be competing with the private sector. When we compete with the private sector, you take the bread off their mouth. And that is the example of Cross River State. We point them and show them, say, go and survive, because I am already engaged, but I studied this to show you the way. And that's the example.
Thank you so much, Sir Gabe.
Thanks a lot.
We appreciate you.
So have we taken all these questions? Are we okay with questions now? Yep.
Yeah.
Chioredu. OJ, there's one from Chioredu.
No,
okay.
If
about Nollywood.
Season premiere, because this is a season premiere. We should be having fun to welcome the new season.
I tell you.
I'm already feeling it.
Everybody has a day when the sun stays away. Take heart in a new tomorrow. Live more love between next for a brighter day. Never need worry, let one love set you free. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, it's a struggle just staying alive. Somebody tell me, oh, why we fight it? What love can set us free if we just let it be. Take off in a brand new day. Good love is all we need to take the clouds away. Never need worry if we just let it be. One love, keep us together. Living in a world, struggle to stay alive.
One love, keep us together.
Living in a world, struggle to stay alive.
I could have come with my Calabar Carnival t-shirt.
Yes, now, of course.
So that we're
probably Utamish.
Yes.
Utamish.
Yeah, every state wants to keep their own people.
We're coming to Calabar next year, so we'll stay in your house. We're not paying for hotel since you're across from the hotel. Oche Kitchen is coming to
Yes,
Calabar.
Mr. Onu is there.
The kitchen host, we are going to Calabar.
Mr. Gabe, are you hearing them? That is against what you
No,
just said.
Yeah, Chris, what did you say?
That is against what Mr. Gabe just preached. Now, when you go for tourism, you should stay in hotels.
We buy memorabilia now. We buy memorabilia. We buy food from them now.
No, but you have to promote tourism by staying in hotels.
I should meet my best friend.
Yeah,
So we should leave our best friend's
you know,
house.
before now, do you know how many flights that land Calabar every day? But now, one flight a day or one flight in 2 days. There is a lot of work to do to bring back the lost glory of Calabar Carnival.
Mr. Gabe, if OcheKicchen is coming to Calabar next year, be ready to have a handful.
Gabe, are you there?
Because I'm going to join them. If OcheKicchen is coming to
Can you
Calabar
check the
next year,
chat?
be ready. You're going to have a handful.
They're fantastic.
Because